Obviously, people are talking about a wall. Walls are a terrible solution because there are ladders that can go over them pretty easily. What you really need to have is eyes on it. And the two best solutions, you can see them here. Israel has had they understand borders really well. And so what you're seeing, if you're watching, are these towers, which do a great job of monitoring the border. And you could put about 2,000 of these towers. They have a range of easily a mile. This is next-gen border by EBIT Systems. It's an Israeli-based company. It's a 160-foot surveillance tower. Andril actually has a Sentry Tower as well. Our friend of the pod, Palmer Lucky's company, Andril. And obviously, and the Border Patrol already has 10 of the towers.
Well, why do you see it as an either or? I'm just curious. Like, why don't you do both?
I think that these smart lampposts, as I call them, are the number one first thing to do because you could deploy these in a fraction of the time. You could have 2,000 of these really in under a year for $4 billion. And so these only cost $2 million each. The 10 towers that were put in at $26 million in the pilot. So if you put 2,000 of these towers in and you just picked 4 different vendors, so they do 500 each and you test them, that would be $4 billion. That would be nothing.
What do you do when the camera spots a person?
You send intercepts there, and then you build the walls where people are crossing most. So that would be that would be the most
where
logical.
They're crossing most. They're crossing at the
obviously
holes.
You look for hotspots, David. So but we don't. There's hotspots that we don't know about. So I'd say you deploy these for $4 billion very quickly, and then where there are hotspots, you obviously build walls. But you're still going to need.
Can I be frank about this?
Sure, be as frank as you like.
Look, regardless of what you think about Trump, this Mayorkas revelation completely and utterly vindicates his approach to wanting to build a wall. And there's so many people who won't just admit that he was right, that we need a strong border wall, not because it's perfect, not because you can't climb over it if you have the right tools, but because a wall is more defensible than an open field. Now, look, I'm all in favor of these towers and the cameras. And my understanding is that a lot of the parts of Trump's wall did have cameras on them.
Yeah, no, he gets credit for that too.
But the point is that you have video now coming out of thousands of people streaming across, running.
Yeah, the word is out.
You need a wall to stop that. You also then need cameras and border guards and all the rest of it.
Just so you know, 2,000 miles of wall is going to be like a decade-long project. So that's my only point.
Okay, it's only a decade long if you allow all of these court challenges that are designed to frustrate it. The fact of the matter is, and look, we don't need 2,000 miles of wall because there are a lot of natural barriers along the border. Yes. Where you have deep rivers or mountains or whatever, we're not going to need the wall. However, there are pieces of the wall that were literally laying on the ground. They were unfinished from Trump's term. By the way, Trump should have gotten that done. He didn't. In any event, whatever. The point is, the Biden administration was actually selling those pieces of wall for scrap metal for 2 cents on the dollar. This was a story that came out. Now they're admitting that we need the wall. That was pure politics. That makes no sense. They had the construction materials. They should have just finished it.
That is
American public. Yeah, the American public.
It's utterly ridiculous.
All agrees. Yeah.
That's like crazy.
It's because the American government didn't like who said the right thing and the tone in which he said it.
Yes. And they didn't like the separating of children from whatever, and they politicized that. Both parties are equally just gross at this issue and incompetent. It should be a point-based system. You lock the border and you allow people in, as I've said 10 times on this podcast, based on merit, what they're going to contribute to our society. That's recruitment. Some amount of people who need asylum because they're going to be murdered, i.e. Afghanistan, people who supported us, Afghanis who supported us during the war. And then finally, the orderly process of people applying to come in here. Do your jobs, everybody.
Pull up this article, please, Nick.
What happens when you get to the border, guys? Do you just get admitted to America?
Guys, this is insane, okay? The Biden administration started auctioning off what they called spare border wall parts, okay? I mean, how does Biden live this down?
I think this could cost him the election.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that.
Yeah. I think this is
this is a setup for a very bad ad. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is just because it's become so politicized. Point-based system, recruitment over chaos, build a wall, build sensor towers.
What do you do in the meantime? There are tens of thousands of people a day hitting the southern border.
We have a National Guard. We have something called the National Guard. We send them there. They have to be deployed anyway. You just deploy the National Guard. That's the shortest term.
But say more. Like you would put the military to basically turn these people around.
Of course you turn them around. Yes, that's it.
Well,
you build a wall. National Guard will be quickest. The towers will be second quickest, and the wall is going to take forever. But you need a wall.
But how do you process the asylum claim? Because isn't the whole point of asylum like you can't send them back to this country in which they're going to be killed in? And so
it's an imperfect process, Chamath, obviously.